Hey there, how you doing? Did you know that Archer Taylor said that riddling is a universal art? We think so too. Everyone can take part in our riddles, but the 6 coming up will be sure to test your mental skills. Stay up to date with our weekly releases by pressing the subscribe button if you like these. The Watchmen. An airline CEO called Mark is leaving on a week-long business trip. When he was packing his bag the night before, Mark realized that he left something very important back in his office. He rushed back early in the morning, and as he was entering the building, he bumped into the night security guard at the end of his shift. The security guard said, "Mark, please don't get on your flight. I had a dream last night that your plane is going to crash." Mark, a superstitious man, had to cancel his flight after hearing this haunting news. And sure enough, the plane crashed a few hours later. So as Mark arrives in the office the very next morning, he seeks out the security guard and gives him a handsome reward.
Wow.
And then, out of the blue, fires the security guard. Why did he fire the night security guard even though he saved his life? You've got 15 seconds starting now. Answer. The security guard said he had a dream, which meant he was sleeping on the job. Do you have any embarrassing work stories? We'd love to hear them, and maybe we can turn them into a riddle just for you. Leave a comment below. Lost in the desert. Reese and Sarah had been longing to go on vacation. So one day, they decided to pack up their bags and go on an adventurous road trip. After leaving their town of Capitola, Sarah reached into the glove compartment to look for a map to go to their next destination, Avalon, but realized that they had forgotten one. Sarah was trying to explain to Reese that they don't have a map to find their way to Avalon, but Reese was preoccupied and looking into the distance. He claimed, "Sarah, look, there's a big multiple fork in the road, and the only sign I can use for directions has been knocked down. What do I do?" In the end, Sarah managed to put up the sign so it pointed them in the right direction towards Avalon. What did she do? Your 15 seconds starts in 3, 2, 1. Answer. Sarah knew that they had just come from their town of Capitola, so when she stood the signpost up, she made sure that the arm reading Capitola points in the direction of Capitola. And that way the other arms will all post to the right destinations too. The best archer ever. The king and his loyal entourage were riding on their horses in the forest when suddenly one of his entourage spotted something strange in the distance. They went over to investigate as they couldn't tell what it was at a distance. When they reached their destination, they saw loads of axes bang smack into the middle of targets painted on the trees. Every single one was exactly in the center. The king cried out, "Who could have thrown all these axes so perfectly? We must find him!" So the king and his entourage galloped through the forest until they came across a small girl carrying a bow and arrow. The king asked the girl if she was the one responsible for the arrows in the tree, and to everyone's surprise, she answered, "Yes, king, it was me who shot the arrows at the tree." The king, no fool of a man, responded, Now, little girl, you can't lie to a king, you know. That's treason. Are you sure you didn't just walk up to the targets and put the arrows in the middle? No, trust me, my lord. I would never lie to you. I shot them all from 50 yards away. The king, astonished by the girl's amazing skills, offered her to join his entourage. She immediately burst out into tears of enjoyment, but the king had one condition. He wanted to know how she managed to hit the bullseyes of all the targets from so far out. Can you work out how she managed to pull it off? This one is a tricky one. See if you can solve it in 15 seconds. Or press the pause button and give yourself a bit more time. Answer: she shot the arrow from 50 yards out at trees without any targets, then painted the targets around the arrow she shot. What a clever girl! Suitcase locks. This one's a super tough one, so buckle up and enjoy this brain teaser. A man called John is on the run from Interpol and is living in the remote destination of Bolivia. The only problem is that the mail system is notoriously corrupt. John, a tech wizard, has had to go offline because he knows Interpol can track his every online move. He needs to get some very important documents to his lawyer across the country that could prove his innocence. And he knew he couldn't risk one of the mail handlers stealing the documents. So the only possible way John could send the package was by good old-fashioned padlock and key. But if he locks the package, then his lawyer won't be able to unlock it, as the lawyer won't have the correct key. The package is designed to hold any number of padlocks, but John knows he can't just double up the padlocks, as that will only make the problem worse. Gosh, I told you this was a hard one, right? Well, how do you think John managed to send the documents to his lawyer? Answer: John's plan is: Step 1. He will lock a padlock on the package and send it to his lawyer. John makes sure to keep the key. Step 2. The lawyer will put his own lock on the suitcase and send it back to John. So there are now 2 locks on the suitcase. The lawyer also makes sure to keep his key. Step 3. John will remove his padlock using the key he kept in Step 1 and then send it back to his lawyer. Step 4. The lawyer will use his key to remove the remaining padlock and get the documents which prove John's freedom. Gold links. One day you find yourself in your grandmother's attic having a good old spring clean, when suddenly you stumble across these amazing 5 short bracelets, each made of 4 links. You ask your grandmother, "Is it okay if I take these bracelets and get them made into a necklace of 20 links?" The grandmother lovingly agrees and gives you $40 to pay a jeweler to change the bracelets into a large necklace. So, you go down to your local jewelers and ask, "How much would it cost to break each link and reseal it? I've only got $40. The jeweler replies, "It'll cost you $50 in total, as it costs $10 per link that I have to break and reseal up." In the end, you manage to get the necklace made by the jeweler for $40. How? This is a sweet one with a bit of maths involved. Got to be on your game to answer this. Don't forget about your 15 seconds. Answer: instead of breaking a link in each of the chains, you instead break all 4 links into one of the chains and then use those 4 links to attach the remaining 4 chains. You've now saved yourself $10. What are you going to spend it on? I'm going to spend mine on a couple of coffees. Well, I'll certainly need those coffees as my brain is fried after answering all of those. What about you? Did you manage to answer them? If you did, leave a comment with all the answers, and I'll get back to every single one of you. And of course, we'd love to continue growing with all of your help. So if you could subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell so you get notified about our weekly video, I would really appreciate it.